Alrighty. Hello and welcome to Answering Atheism, episode 26, not 25 here. I had 25 on the thing. Alright, so last time we had a really interesting episode. An atheist wanted to believe. And I already forget what I was going to add to that right at the start of this one, but we'll just bow. Still don't have the tie, so we'll skip showing the tie since I don't have the tie on, and we still got the sweater. So normally I try and wear a fancy shirt to be presentable, but doing these is more important than being presentable and doing these. The time difference. So anyhow, before we get started, I'd just like to go through some introductory type stuff. What I do here on this series. By the way, we're beyond the 25 milestone mark. We're on the way to 50 now, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Great stuff. What I do, I take the Christian side of things, and on the internet, I try and take great comments, secular, atheist, evolutionist type comments, take those comments, militant atheism, whatever I think would be interesting or I can deal with or want to try and deal with or come up with something. I bring it onto the show here after I take a limited amount of time to come up with some notes to be able to kind of give a dialogue and that sort. It's not easy to just go on the fly and wing it. So I use notes. I use notes to keep me guided, or else we go left and right, way off topic. But sometimes I still come up with stuff on the go and talk about it. But anyhow, so that's what I do, and if at all possible, I try and dismantle the comment and give a counter punch of sorts to the comment. Give a counter. So, who's ready for the comment this time? Here we go. Are you ready? Here's the comment. Christians believe that the universe came from nothing. Christians believe that the universe came from nothing. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, I think that one's as false as can be. Wow. I see that as projection, if anything. Christians believe that the universe came from nothing. Wait, who believes it came from a dot? Who believes the dot exploded? The Bible's very first verse, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And depending on translation being King James or not a doctrinal issue or anything like that. I don't know the 100% the answer, but King James says heaven, the others say heavens. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but nonetheless, there's the wording difference. The statement is just completely false. There's no other way to talk about it. This comment is just false as can be. Christians believe that the universe came from nothing. then why would they be Christians who believe in God creating the universe? It could get tricky on the wording, but universe coming from nothing versus universe coming from something from nothing. I think that would be the two views, and I probably don't have them all the information jotted down, but on the other video we did I think the cosmological argument. Everything that comes into existence has a cause. The universe came into existence, thus the universe has a cause, and for it to come into existence, that puts a time limit on things. The nature, the universe is not eternal. If it were, and infinite amounts of time have gone by, then everything would be wound down. We wouldn't have energy. And secondly, if it was eternal and infinite amounts of time have passed, well, that would require that infinite time passes to get to now, which is impossible. So, Big Bang puts a Big Bang type thing, indicates a beginning. Things began to exist. They had a cause. And for them to have a cause, with nature not being able to bring forth nature itself, you have to have something that transcends nature, outside nature. So, and given that nature began to exist, it was created, which these things coming about require to make something, to bring something about, is a personal act. So it has to be a personal, immaterial, infinite, intelligent, spaceless, timeless being. So I think that is the cosmological argument, which we just went through in the last video. I really think I did a botched job with these notes, but I don't even want to read the notes. But outside of that, well, God would be the energy source, okay? The energy source, and upholding nature. Upholding nature. Where on earth would the energy source come from? And if you wanna try and play the if you want to play the card where well, there was a part of nature that was kind of eternal and not really had any entropy or whatever the case. Still, that's something. That's something. It had to have it had to come about. Why is it there? Why isn't there nothing? Why is there something? Why do we have something, not nothing? But anyhow, on the and if you want to, there's a lot of different things. There's multiverse. There's parallel worlds. There's a bunch of different things you could say. And you can even say that, well, this caused the Big Bang, which was caused by this, which was caused by this. If you do that, you end up doing an infinite regress, and you can't have it being eternal. You can't have it being eternal. nature winds down. Nature winds down. And for something to just explode, why would it choose, or why would it be, why would it happen when it happened? You know, type of a deal. That's a decent question. That's a decent question. Why would it happen when it happened? You know, for I don't know, for a gun to fire, you need the shush stomach, shush. You need the gun, you need the ammo, you need the one firing to get the bang. And the bullet is made, the handgun or rifle or whatever, that's made. How would have things got set into motion? The gun got trigger happy and went rogue. It also has to load itself. A gun does, but well, it needed to be loaded, but it's not quite the same as a dot exploding. That's one funny thing, though, is some people say, I saw a great comeback once. It's people complain about all the this or that on the ark fitting. It's kinds, not species, by the way. Cat kind, dog kind, you name it. So it's not the numbers that people put out just to mock and scoff. But here's the thing. With whatever people say couldn't fit on Noah's Ark, yet everything supposedly fit into a dot. And an explosion, you don't get order from an explosion. You get disorder from an explosion. What was the energy source? Christianity, you have the energy source being God. It's that simple. And to counter the infinite regress type thing, God would be uncaused, which caused the universe to come into being, to exist. So, he's above and beyond nature. And the Bible talks about, as I said, Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. So, things coming into being, time, space, matter, a beginning. That lines up to whatever degree with Big Bang. Just, kind of different time scale, but there's still the beginning. So, and the Bible talks about a fall and how things will end up and there being a judgment and a restoration. Things are going to be restored. On the Christian side of things, we got God being eternal, outside of time, uncaused, creator of nature and existence, as we know it. So the universe on our side of the fence came from God creating it. And then you have God from nothing, in a sense. But the wording is kind of tricky. You get into word trickery here. You can't necessarily get God from nothing, but I think the uncaused sounds more precise. I lost one thought I had in there, but nonetheless. So essentially it boils down to something from nothing, or aka uncaused. Something from something uncaused. So the uncaused caused something. So Christian side of thing, you got God, energy, cause, intelligence, lawmaker, by the way, universe governed by laws, gravity, this, that. So laws, require lawmaker. We could get into information and functional information. That requires intelligence. And with God being infinite and all-knowing, all that sort, wouldn't be a problem for him. We got things like Morse code and computer code, which are 2 characters when DNA is, I think, ATCG, which is 4 characters. Worlds more potential and possibility. I think it's one thing to have the information. I think there was something about Richard Dawkins, some sort of argument he had, something about like pickup sticks or something like that, that random chance they'll, if they had letters or something, they would eventually spell something like that. Even if they did spell something, it's null and void without an intelligence. It has no function. So, at least that's from what I can understand. DNA and stuff like that. You have functional information. This skin don't look like it used to 10 years ago, believe me. I'm winding down. I'm on a time limit. This skin is copying itself, copying itself, copying itself, copying itself. If we didn't have that ability with it automatically copying itself, all of our information, we'd be toast. We'd be toast. We'd be done like that. Our cells are, always dividing, copying. Some people suffer from dandruff. So, those are some interesting things. I don't know. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, but on the atheism side, which is kind of like evolutionary foundation by default, whether they want to admit or not, that's really all they can fall back on in terms of beliefs. The universe, on their side of the fence, would have evolved from Big Bang explosion, the beginning of nature, which would be finite. Even on the Christian side of things, the universe is finite. But on the atheism type side, it's also finite. It's winding down. It will eventually have an end. So the ultimate end zone is gloom and doom. There's no hope. Eventually, but that would require quite a bit of time, I suppose. And there's all sorts of different models or views of Big Bang type stuff in the universe and how things came to be and all that jazz. So an infinitely old universe, on the other hand, would wind down due to entropy. Plus, if the universe was infinitely old, infinite amounts of time would have to pass to get to now, which is impossible. So, on that basis, on that part of it, Big Bang just impossible. Then we got biogenesis versus abiogenesis. Biogenesis, life from life. We see that all the time. Abiogenesis, we don't see that. As I said, there's a lot to it. There's functional information. Charles Darwin, he could only see face value with the finches and stuff. They could not see the little stuff going on, all the functional information and stuff going on in factories and all the different systems we have going on, type of a deal. He saw finches become finches and concluded finches, people, and banana are all related if you go far enough back. the evolutionary tree of life type of thing. But yeah, if you had a Morse code thing, just a two character thing out in space, would be all over the news for a week. Alien intelligence found, or proof of alien intelligence found. It would be all over and celebrated. But our own DNA, genetics, functional information, that's passed by. The same thing that happens with, I think, Mars and the flood. Folks say with what, Earth, what is it, 70% covered by water, whatever the case, couldn't have had a global flood, but Mars did. Okay. How do they know that? But the Big Bang on the atheism side of things, without cause, without an energy source. So, with what the guy said, Christians believe that the universe came from nothing. A dot exploding from nothing that seems more like a fit. And people like to throw out the magic label. Well, that's what sounds magic. Everything by chance upon chance upon chance upon chance upon chance upon chance. It's miracles and magic in atheism, evolutionism, secularism, humanism, you name it. And here's the other thing I heard once. At least the Christian side of things, we have a magician. But the whole God and magic type thing is silly. God doesn't condone magic, which is a tricky topic. It's a tricky topic because folks don't believe in God. They say God is magic. I don't know how to best deal with that kind of a comment, is the thing. The way I see it is magic is probably most thought of in the sense of the first thing you kind of think of is like medieval type witches and magic and witchcraft and all sorts of not good things going on. God was not for that kind of stuff. So to say that God is magic or uses magic is silly and stupid. Back there in early bits of Genesis, it tells of God bringing things forth with his voice. That's indicating and showing you the authority is there. God said, let there be. Boom, it happens. God said, let there be light. There's light. Type of a deal. Very interestingly, I said on a different video, very interestingly, on that type of a topic, we're getting off topic 3 times over, but no, I lost it. But in there, early in Genesis, it also says that man is made in the image of God. So we're going to be like him in certain ways, intelligent, this and that, moral, and a bunch of different things. But we have made, compare this to God in nature obeying his voice, according to the Bible. Man has come up with the clap on, clap off. That's an act and a response from nature. Think of voice command technology. You say something, it happens. Think about that. Made in the image of God. We might be mimicking him and we don't even know it. We don't realize it. That's a pretty neat thought. But anyhow, on the magic side of things, God was against magic. God wasn't for magic. God condemned magic, use of magic. In the Old Testament, I think it was Saul, King Saul, who used some sort of whoever as like a medium or something like that, some sort of witchcraft person, to conjure forth the spirit of someone else. Whether it was or not, I don't know. There would be two views on that, I assume. One would be that it was actually that person's spirit that was brought forth, or view two, it was a demon posing as that individual, and manifested in some way. But no, the magic type comment is just inconsistent, very inconsistent. The way I see it, the best kind of description or terminology is, I don't know how to describe the term, but maybe something like the attempt to use some sort of godlike power through witchcraft type stuff, which ultimately I think this side of the fence would say that kind of stuff would probably have to do with demons and things like that, with what they're able to do or not, different things moving on their own or weird stuff happening, would probably be demons in our side of the fence, we would say. But anyhow, I think we're just about done here. In terms of dimensions, there was one interesting thing I heard. There was some speculation about all these different other dimensions, and seemingly the Bible would probably be on that side of the fence, talking about a heavenly realm, a realm with the angels and demons, kind of battling around Earth. So with a materialist type view, one can't accept that type of a thing. But considering with what dimensions we have three dimensions. How could we disprove and know that there aren't more? That would be like the equivalent of how would within 2D disprove the possibility of 3D? Like a fish in a lake only being able to see what's in the lake, not what's outside the lake. It has no idea about all the stuff outside the lake, potentially. But yeah, I think there was something about like possibly several or 12 or 14 dimensions or something like that. That is just, oh man, is that a mind boggler of the ages? Wow. Think about that one. That'll take a while to chew on. Boy. A lot more dimensions than we know about or can see. Bonkers. Who knows what that would even be like? I don't think we can even comprehend a fourth. But anyhow, the 2D and 3D type thing, probably another good example would be like a school chalkboard. What's on there could only understand left and right, up and down. It couldn't understand outside of the chalkboard or off of the chalkboard. With depth. So, very interesting stuff. All right. I didn't think we were going to make this one last this long, but unbelievably, I made it last several times longer than I thought it would last. So, anyhow, before I go, the free gift is the best deal. Us breaking God's laws, us guilty, God dying in our place, and rising again the third day, proving who he is as Jesus, second person of the Trinity, so that if we might put our trust on him, we would be saved and be able to spend eternity with him rather than apart from him. Some people are going to choose apart from him. I would not want to choose that. I'm not choosing that. A long time ago, I chose with him. So anyhow, that's it. Some will accept, some will deny. It would be chances are it would be a waste of time trying to get someone to the point where they would go from them as the highest standard to God as their highest authority type deal, and a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things in there. There's the things you want to do, and you don't want to give up. And you could have weak points. Could be drinking, smoking, this and that, lusting, lying, swearing. The Bible talks about once you're saved, that you want to do the things you don't want to do, and you don't want to do the things you want to do. So there's just this struggle, and people can still mess up and botch and sin. Like I say, we all got weak spots. we're all not perfect, but someone else was able to be perfect and do the job for us. So that we might be saved. So, anyhow, those that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved, I think the Bible says. So, no fancy recipe. Obviously, you have to believe in God to trust God, but, you know. But yeah, a long time ago, I accepted the best deal. So, anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Next time will be episode 27. We're on the way to 50. It's going to be a while. So, anyhow, I will see you up ahead. As always, take care, cool.